The history of Japan begins in the Paleolithic period, around 40,000 before Christ, when the first human groups settled the Japanese islands. After the end of the last ice age, the Jomon culture developed from approximately 10,000 before Christ onward. These societies lived as hunters and gatherers, yet already formed sedentary structures. They are particularly known for their richly decorated pottery, among the oldest ceramic traditions in the world. Around 300 before Christ, the Yayoi period began, marked by the arrival of new population groups from the Asian mainland. They introduced wet rice cultivation, metalworking, and new forms of social organization. As a result, clear social hierarchies emerged, along with early political centers and a more stratified society. In the 3rd century after Christ, the Kofun period began, characterized by monumental burial mounds for rulers and nobles. During this phase, an early Japanese state took shape under the leadership of the Yamato court. Contacts with China and Korea led to the adoption of writing, administrative systems, and religious ideas. In the 7th century after Christ, comprehensive reforms modeled on Chinese systems were introduced, strengthening the imperial institution and establishing a centralized state administration. In the 8th century after Christ, the capital at Nara became a permanent political and religious center, and Buddhism gained significant influence within state and society. At the end of the 8th century after Christ, the capital was moved to Heian-kyo, present-day Kyoto. The following Heian period is regarded as a classical golden age of Japanese culture. Court literature, poetry, aesthetics, and ritual life developed distinctive forms, while political power increasingly rested in the hands of aristocratic families. In the 12th century after Christ, military conflicts led to the rise of the samurai warrior elite as the dominant political force. With the establishment of the Kamakura shogunate, a system emerged in which the emperor remained in place symbolically, while real power was exercised by military governments. Zen Buddhism gained prominence during this period. After the decline of the Kamakura shogunate, the Muromachi period followed in the 14th century after Christ. It was marked by cultural diversity, but also by political instability and internal conflict. These developments culminated in the 16th century after Christ in an era of nearly continuous civil war among regional warlords. In the early 17th century after Christ, Tokugawa Ieyasu succeeded in unifying the country. The establishment of the Tokugawa shogunate initiated the Edo period, which brought more than 2 centuries of relative stability. Japan largely isolated itself from the outside world, yet developed a vibrant urban culture, a differentiated educational system, and a rich tradition of art and theater. In the mid-19th century after Christ, growing pressure from Western powers forced Japan to abandon its isolation. In the year 1868 after Christ, the Meiji Restoration began, ending shogunal rule and returning political authority to the emperor. Within a short time, Japan was modernized, industrialized, and reorganized along Western lines. In the early 20th century after Christ, Japan emerged as an imperial power and expanded its influence across East Asia. This expansion ultimately led to participation in the Second World War, which ended for Japan in the year 1945 after Christ with total defeat. The atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki left deep social and moral scars. After the war, Japan remained under Allied occupation until the year 1952 after Christ. A new democratic constitution came into force. The emperor was reduced to a symbolic role, and Japan formally renounced war as an instrument of national policy. In the decades that followed, the country experienced a rapid economic recovery that transformed it into one of the world's leading industrial nations. Following the collapse of the economic bubble in the 1990 years after Christ, Japan entered a prolonged period of economic stagnation. At the same time, demographic challenges such as population aging and declining birth rates became increasingly pronounced. In the 21st century after Christ, Japan faced major natural disasters, including the devastating earthquake, tsunami, and nuclear disaster in Fukushima in the year 2011 after Christ. Despite these challenges, the country has remained politically stable, technologically advanced, and culturally influential worldwide. Up to the present day, Japan continues to confront the task of balancing tradition and modernity, economic adaptation, and social transformation.